What's good, everyone? This is episode 1 of Links to Labels podcast, and our first guest is Jimmy Tropicana. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Jimmy. He's going to introduce himself, the brand he's built, and we're going to go from there. So, Jimmy.
Awesome. First off, let me tell you something. I'm excited and I'm proud that you pulled the trigger quickly to do this. I think I saw one of your videos and I said, dude, what's up with the podcast? Because podcasts are just so good because you branch out and you get extra content and you get to hear other things and you get to sharpen your skills. So I know that what you're doing here today is your first one. And let me tell you that the first 20 are going to suck, bro. And you're going to go, God, and you're not even going to be able to listen to them because you're going to be like, man, I just don't know what I'm doing. And then on the 21st, you're like Kirk Gibson coming out of the dugout. And it's like, what's he doing here? Home run every time. So take it as a grain of salt. Be proud in the fact that you actually got this going, that you did it, that it's working. And you're going to see over time, it's going to get better and they're going to get good. You're putting in the effort. You know how to be in front of a camera. You know how to be in front of a microphone. So let me start by saying that. Congratulations on your first podcast. I hope you have millions and millions and millions more. And I want to be your 100th guest also. It's not just your first guest.
I appreciate that. I do.
Cool. All right. So let's. What do you want to talk about, bro? You want me to give you a rundown of what I do? You want me to ask you questions about you?
No. So for the people who end up watching this, I want them to know a little bit about you, where you're from, your background, how you started making content on your own personal Instagram, and then the brand you've built, right? With the Tropicana Golf Club and Barbershop.
Yep.
That's got a pretty big following. I know there's a lot of engagement on that. I think it's pretty cool how you built a community. And I think it's important for all the brands that at least follow me to understand what it means to really build a community, because the community is what's going to keep you going for a long time. Right.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Just want to hear more about your background and what you've built and how you've built it.
Okay. Well, my name's Jimmy Tropicana. I started, first of all, let me say that I've worked my whole life, 18 years, well, not my whole life, but 18 years of my 40 years, I worked in an office job, and it was a great job. And we had a great boss and a great team and a great environment, but it was just that. It was an office job, and it was here, and it was never going to get here. And I felt like I can't go to 65 years old and never try anything else. So what I did was I dabbled in it. I would go to work and I worked hard. And on my free time, I decided if I'm going to do anything else in life, it's going to be something that I absolutely love. And my job was not bad. I don't want to say it was bad, but it wasn't what I loved. I didn't love it. It was just work, and I had to work to provide for my family. So I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to work, and then I'm going to work on the side on things that I love. What do I love? Well, I love playing music. I did that already. I played music. I was in the nightclubs. I played parties and events and all kinds of stuff all over the U.S. Okay, so that's done. I didn't want to do that anymore. What else do I love? Golf. Oh, okay. I love golf. And I was spending a lot of time playing golf, but just playing, just playing, not filming, not thinking about how to monetize it, just playing. So in 2017, maybe 16, I started thinking to myself, I'm gonna somehow branch out outside of work and make a second kind of career or side income or something. I didn't know. I didn't have a plan. Okay. So to tell you that I had a plan of this is how I was going to do it to ultimately get down and sit down with you here on this conversation, no idea. I had no clue. Everything's just coming at me and I'm catching and turning double plays and whatever. Like I don't know. So I said, it has to be related to golf. So I get into the golf and I start playing. And I'm thinking, okay, how can I do something about this? How can I expand on it? And then in about 2017, I thought, I'm going to do something that I really, really love. Like, what are the things that I love? I really tried to hone in on that. Like, what am I not going to get burnt out on? What am I going to want to do every single day? And it hit me. I was in the barbershop, my a barbershop that I would get my hair cut, and I loved going in there, okay, because I loved the experience of it, but I hated the shop. The shop was noisy. They had like 5 TVs, giant TVs, and they were super loud and they were all showing different things. But I loved the barbershop atmosphere. So I said, oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't know a thing about cutting hair or being a barber or anything, but I do know what I would like in a barbershop. So, long story short, I decided I'm going to make a barbershop with also a golf influence. Now, how can I be a golf influence? Well, I'll put a little simulator and a little putting green and some golf merch. And sure enough, it worked. And it was crushing. I mean, it's still crushing, but like it was good and it was fast. And I just rented a spot and I took some credit card loans and I was like, I'm gonna try something. I don't know. I'm just gonna try it. And if it fails, worst case scenario, I'm $25,000 in credit card debt. I'll go back to work and I'll figure out a way to pay that off. I literally just rolled dice and it worked. Then COVID hit a year later, and I was like, oh shit, barbershops are closed. What are we gonna do? We were doing bootleg bootleg haircuts, people going around the back door knocking 5 times and they're coming in and we
Well,
started drinking in there. What's that?
well, you're in California. You're in California too. That's when the most restrictions were.
Yeah, it was
So,
nuts. So that's the
except
first. They didn't shut us down for a while, and then all of a sudden they said barbershops, beauty salons, anything with any kind of touching, you're done. I was like, oh shit, okay. So my rent on the building was still due. He didn't care, so I had to somehow pay the rent. So the barbers worked. We put tape or paper over the windows. It was like pirate shit. Like people were in and out of there. People wanted to get haircuts. All right. So anyway, so we're doing that, and the doors are still open, but my mind's like something's missing. Something's missing. And then I get a call from Will Mayo, which is the I don't know what he is now, marketing president, or he's a big shot at Rams Hill in Borrego Springs. Rams Hill is this marvelous golf course in the middle of the California desert. It's unbelievable. Like it's just an oasis. Anyway, long story short, he calls me. He says, "Listen, you've created a pretty cool thing with the Tropicana barbershop. Why don't you start a golf club?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." He's like, "Well, they have them at golf courses, men's clubs." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely not, man. Like I hate all those things and those people are stuff." I had been a member of one at Brookside Golf Club, and these guys are like 60 years old, and I'm not saying anything about age. I wanted to participate. These fools wouldn't call me. They wouldn't call me to play. They didn't invite me to play. And I get it. They have their little groups of friends that they hang out with and they play with. And they didn't want me. I was a young kid and like they probably thought I don't know what they thought, but I didn't get a call, so I was totally turned off by the whole club scenario. But Will's like, no, you can get it with people your age and in your demographic and in your style. And I was like, okay. So I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. Whatever. So I create the club. I start doing some posts on Instagram. And I said, I'm starting a club. I remember perfectly. I didn't even have a tripod. I put the phone in the corner of the barbershop and I'm yelling because I don't have microphones yet. And I'm yelling to the camera, I'm starting this golf club. I want more people to play golf with, which I did. Like golf was the only thing we could do then. And I was like, I have like 6 people to play golf with, and 3 of them have to work, and the other 2 have kids. So like we couldn't get out. I was like, I want a big network of people to play golf with. So I'm like yelling at the camera, like, if you need more people to play golf with, sign up. And I go, Will, I did it. Like I registered and to be a USGA golf club. And he's like, all right, cool. And I got like 3 or 4 guys, my main guys, signed up, right away. And then the following week I got 10. And the week after that I got 25. And the week after that, I had 50. And I'm like, dude, this is fast, Long story short, by the end of the second month, I had 100 members, which was insane. I didn't know any of these people, and these people are paying monthly to be members. And I'm like, oh shit, like this is good. So immediately I set up a tournament and give them something to do. And they come out and everybody's having a good time. They start meeting, and I see that they meet each other, and then they're playing golf together outside of these tournaments. I go, oh, this is it. Like, this is like a fucking like a meeting room, like, this is great. This is how we're going to build friendships and stuff. So anyway, it just keeps going and going and going. After the first year, we had 300 members, and we're having tournaments every month, weekly events, nighttime events, social events. Come to my wedding, come to my anniversary, come to my birthday party. Like, it's crazy. Like, everybody's just getting together. And then the second year, more of the same. We got to 500 members, and everything's great. This would be 2022. Everything's great. We're having weekly tournaments. We're having these big, massive 120 player tournaments every single month. And then from there, we have the winners of those tournaments, and the winners from those tournaments go to finales. It's constant. It's never ending, right? We have this great thing going on. And then we get an idea, kind of an email, a message from somebody in Las Vegas, and they said, hey, we want a piece of this too. And I was like, yeah, this is great, because my guys go to Vegas all the time. So in the March of this year, we added Las Vegas, we added Florida, we added something called the Tropicana Girls, which allows women to meet up, play golf, and typically it's just girls. Everybody's invited, but typically the girls meet up and they go play, and they go to the range, or they go play around, or it's just friends, man. It's just a way to make friends, instead of just going to the course and be like, hey, I'm a single, like, you want to play? So they pay a monthly fee of $13.99, and you get access to all this cool stuff. Now we have so many people. We have over 700 members now. So now brands, equipment, courses, they reach out and they're like, hey, we want to give you a Tropicana discount. You guys have so many people. We want you to be part of this. We'll give you 15% off. We'll give you 30% off, whatever, whatever the discount is. But our members have so many different discounts and so many different ways to go about things. So it's been a really, really cool ride. And I think that there's so much more. And that's just the club, the content that you were asking. It just comes naturally. When you put so many people together in a room or on a course, the things just come out. The content writes itself. It's insane. So we're just playing golf, making videos, having a great time, making friendships. It's the great. I wish. I'm 40 now, but I wish at 21 I would have had this, man, because it's great. I went so many years without kind of anybody to play with. Golf is a game that you're either into it or you're not. You don't just kind of do it once in a while. Like, you're either in it or you're not. And if you're in it, you want to play with people that are in it, because otherwise it's just kind of like, he just goes out there and has fun, which is fine. You can do that. But sometimes you want some competition. You want somebody who understands the game, who can give you a run for your money. And that's what all this club stuff allows us to do.
Yeah, and I'll say I've been in Chicago for a couple years. I had a couple buddies here when I moved here, and they're still good friends of mine. But the people that I would say that I'm actually friends with outside of those two people are people that I played golf with and met at a golf course. So
For
it's
sure.
funny, like, I can go out with my girl, meet her friends, and it's whatever. I don't really become friends with them. But when you spend 5 hours on a golf course with a couple dudes, you really get to know them a lot better and you become friends. And I think
100%.
that's what I like most about golf is that relationships that you get to build with other people. And the cool thing is like, we might not have everything in common, but the one thing we do have in common is we like to go golf, and we're always down to golf. And that's what I think is so cool about people who like golf,
Yeah,
right? It's like that we have this one thing in common. It doesn't matter what political views you have or what you like to do outside of golf. If you like
yep.
to golf, you're automatically a friend. And that's what I found, I think, coolest about this sport, but also about like building content and meeting people who follow me, is they're always like, let's go golf. Like if you're in this area, like let's golf. It's on me. And I'm like, I've already played with, I think, two people I follow and who follow me.
Mm-hmm.
Like never in a million years did I think I'd get to do that. So I think golf is like this awesome community of bringing a lot of like-minded people together. Um, so I really admire what you've been able to do, build that community. And like you said, it's just getting started, right? You said you had 900 members, and that's,
No, we
or
got
700, 900 members.
we have 700 members. We'll probably get to 1,000 at some point. And it's not even the number, like I don't care about, I'm not trying to reach a number. If the number is 1,000 or the number is 10,000, it's, to me, it's all about having the ability to provide quality events and quality friendships. I want the members to have so many benefits that you can physically never leave Tropicana because you're missing out. That's what I want. I want it to be such a good experience that it'd be like, I can't leave. All my friends are here. Everything's here. They go on trips. They go to baseball games. They go to football games. They have a softball league. They go to each other's dinners, and like, you can't leave. You're here. You can't leave. And that is what I want to provide more than anything, more than any number. And if the number is 700 and that's where it is, so be it. I'll continue to provide that environment, and what comes of it comes of it.
Do you have like a platform for people who are members to be able to connect with each other, or like a message board where people, maybe even if it's just a Discord group, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be something super technical, but
Right.
just somewhere
Yep.
people can be like, hey, I'm playing golf this Friday or this
Yeah.
Saturday. I need three others, something like
When I
that.
started it, the most common thing was a Facebook group. And that still works the best. And here's how it works. Everybody gets this when you sign up, you get a link to the private Facebook group. And if you have something to say or something to offer, or hey, I'm playing golf on Friday at 4 o'clock, does anyone want to join? You put it on there, people reply underneath, it's a done deal. To me, Vegas has a Discord, and Discord, to me, is sloppy. I don't. I look at it and there's 50 million threads, and I'm like, well, what the? I got to go look for what I want. Facebook, it's all on one thing, and it could be that I'm old and I don't get it, but I just see it all right there, and I go, oh, look here, he's selling this, and he's doing that, and he wants to play then, and he's having a birthday party, and I just see it all the down the line, and I can see who responds. Discord to me is like you have to click a page and then go into another thing, but I mean the Vegas group does it and it works for them, so more power to them. But I send out a weekly email with events. This is what's happening Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. Okay. And then if you have something else that you want to do, go to the Facebook page, post it there, and let people respond to you.
Okay, so you built this brand. You told the story of how you got here, where it's at, the vision. When at what point did you transition to say, all right, now let's create some apparel, let's build the brand on social media? Because I'm sure not everyone who buys your apparel is probably part of the club,
No.
but because of social media, you've been able to get followers, fans from all over the country who I'm sure like what you're doing and like the brand you've built. So at what point did you go into the apparel space, and how did you, I guess, go about finding the right manufacturer, the right designs, the right approach there? Because I like the stuff you do. I like your style. You got that like vintage golf,
Yeah.
classic style, and I like that. Kind of reminds me of like what I think is it Nations Golf? Is it? I think they're a California brand, similar to what like they're doing, right? They appreciate that, traditional classic aspect of golf.
Yeah, there's the apparel and the merch and stuff is a funny thing because, I mean, to be completely 100% honest, I only make stuff. I design stuff for myself. Okay, I design stuff for myself, and it is cheaper to buy it in bulk than it is to get like polos. I wanted to make some polos for myself. Nation Golf and my polos are the only ones that I'll wear. It's the only thing that I wear, and Arnold Palmer vintage polos. But if I want to make 20 polos for myself, it costs me X amount. If I want to make 3,000, it costs me X plus $20. And I'm like, just make the 3,000, it's cheaper. So I only make stuff that I find visually appealing. Okay, number one, and it's stuff that I want. So it's a very selfish apparel line because, I don't make things that appeal to everybody. It's very classic. It's a script font like this, or my polos are 4-button and long collar. I don't do the shirts with all the you know roses and flowers and yeah, I'm filming. You want to come say hello? This is my son Rio. Say hello, everybody.
Hey
All right,
Rio, how's it going, buddy?
he's on a mission to terrorize the house. So yeah, like
We've all been there.
the apparel just came. It just has happened, and I haven't planned it. I've made polos that I want to wear myself. I wear hats that I want to wear myself, and people buy them. I don't want to be a merch company. I'm not a merch company. I'm not. I don't want to sell another damn thing ever. Like honestly, I don't. I don't like that space. I don't like the grind of buy my shirt, buy my shirt, buy my like. I hate that. I have
Yeah.
a garage full of shirts because I hate. Hey, Clayton, buy my shirt. Like I hate that. I hate. That's not me. And I know that that's a whole world, but to me that I want to create different things. I'm not a
But do you think But do you think because you focused on the idea of this, first of all, first it was the barber shop, then it was this club because shout out Rams Hill Will, right?
yeah,
That's who it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. Follows me. Haven't made it out to Rams Hill yet, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Amazing.
Started with the barber shop, then started the club, and you really, like I said at the beginning, like you built this community of people, right? And
Yeah,
and and I'll say, look, I don't sell apparel, right? I customized a hat and I'll occasionally wear it. And you'll get some people who reach out, be like, "Hey, do you sell that hat or do you sell that shirt?" I'm like, "No, I've thought about it, but just not interested in doing something like that." Right?
mm,
I'm really focused on building that community well before I would ever think about putting out a product, right? Because I think if you can build that community of people who love what you do, love what you're about, they'll buy your stuff and you'll grow in that process. And
mm,
I worked for a company called Baseballs, and they have a store out in Irvine.
mm.
They're a pretty big company within the baseball, off the field apparel space. They've done a collab with Nike. They have licensing deals with Ken Griffey, Babe Ruth, the Clemente family, Ted Williams family, and more. Like their story's pretty cool. But what they started doing before they ever sold a product was building a group on Facebook and a
Yeah, yeah,
community on Facebook of posting relevant content, and they grew. I don't know how big they were on Facebook when they launched their first product, but they built a loyal audience and built that brand in the process before they ever thought about selling a product. And I think that is like a blueprint to actually creating a sustainable brand. I think you see a lot of brands and nowadays they just pop up, they're immediately selling apparel, they don't know who their customers are, they don't know the audience, they don't really differentiate themselves because there's hundreds of brands right now, right? And those brands have to compete with the big ones, and
yep,
in my opinion the best way to do it would be build a community first and then focus on product. And it's kind of like what you're doing is you didn't say, "Hey, I want to sell product," but I'm sure you had people asking like, "Hey, you sell hats, you sell
yep.
shirts, do you sell
100%.
polos?" And you're like, "Nah." And then it just makes sense, right? It's just like, all right, this isn't my focus. This isn't my, how I plan to make money, but I built a brand, I have a community, people want it, and now I'm going to give it to them. That's kind of how I see it. And I think it just goes back to that community aspect. Build that community of people, and then it kind of just happens, like you were saying. So
Yeah, no,
I think that's the blueprint to actually build a golf brand
yeah, you're 100% correct.
for the most part.
Yeah, I think that you're spot on. There is a polo and a hat and a divot tool, and every single person makes some kind of golf equipment, and it's just a money grab. It's just a money grab, and they don't even sell any of them. It's all BS. Like nobody's selling anything. because you have to gain the trust of people. Yeah, you can sell some, but in order to sell the amount that you need to make money, there needs to be a trust from your base. You know, Nike puts out a pair of shoe and it could be the shittiest shoe on the planet and it will sell out in an hour. Why?
Selling.
Because they
Yeah.
just they have that trust. So um, that is number one for sure. But the retail space, man, I I'm against it. Only I'm not against it, but I'm turned off by it right now just because there's so many people asking for money. Like there's so many people asking for money. I sat down since August and I said, what can I do that I can provide for free? I want to provide. Money's tight. I get it. Money's tight for me. Money's tight for the world. Or for the U.S. I understand. What can I do to provide entertainment for people for free? And it's YouTube. Like I went from trying to sell polos and hats and whatever. I mean, I've never really done that full speed. Like I don't want to do that, but I said, you know, YouTube, I can provide quality entertainment within my capabilities. I'm not producing a Netflix show, but I can provide entertainment to people for free. And the best part is Google pays me. I have no problem taking Google's money. No problem. It's the hardworking dude in Iowa. I want to provide him a service or a product for free and have Google pay me. YouTube has been unbelievable. And if you're not on YouTube and you don't do stuff on YouTube yet, you need to get on YouTube. You need to put this on YouTube. You need to put every single, if you know how to do anything on this planet, if you can, if you know how to tie your shoes and you think you have an idea on how to tie shoes properly, make 75 videos on YouTube called How to Tie Your Shoes. And I promise you, you will get millions of views and Google will pay you. Google is your best partner. Google wants you to win. Every second that somebody else watches a video, they get paid. So of course they want you to make more videos. So they want to
Yeah.
show your videos to more people. It is the most underrated thing, and this Instagram thing and TikTok and the next one, it's all dog shit, dude. It's not good. And I'll tell you why it's not good. In 100 years, the video that you put on Instagram today will be gone. You will never see it, and it'll just be somewhere in the universe. On YouTube, it will still be there, and you can still search it. It's unbelievable. It's the only search engine, because it is a search engine, that you can type something in exactly what you're looking for. Go to Instagram and type in how to tie your shoe. You're going to get all kinds of messy like stuff. This is chronological, or this is by the
Yeah.
reviews. Like, it's great. It's unbelievable. It will live forever. So anyway,
Yeah.
long story short, I started answering questions on YouTube. People would send me questions on Instagram, and I said, I'm going to answer them on YouTube. That turned into, I'm going to make a golf video. Okay. Now, I know how people make golf videos, and I'm not going to call out anybody because they're doing well and they make their videos and people watch them and they make their money. It's golf entertainment. I understand it. But here's the deal. I think a lot of people are on YouTube for golf instruction. Okay. I'm not a pro golfer, but I have spent a lot of time researching and playing golf and learning what works and what doesn't work. And if I can provide that to somebody in a non classroom type environment, I'm very loose with it, you know, just the same way I am here. That's the way I speak on there. But I have good concepts and I've figured it out. Like I've been there and I've just hit balls until I've figured out this works. Don't do this. Keep your head down this way. But I've broken it down into a simple technique, and you should see the response. I mean, you can go to the Tropicana Entertainment YouTube and just see the multiple videos that I've put out even just recently. And hundreds and hundreds of comments of like, Jimmy, this is unbelievable. Like this is so like easy for me to understand. And it's literally just started happening in August. And now Google's paying me millions, but it's good.
It kind of reminds me, have you ever followed? I think his name's Dave Fink. There's one other guy, Fink. He makes pretty relatable golf videos, easy to understand. Right? It's not very technical. And then there's this guy. I have no idea what his account is, but he like makes videos with using like songs. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, yeah,
He's
the
pretty
long hair
big
guy.
on Instagram, but
Yeah.
he like makes educational videos through songs. And it's all viral type stuff, right?
Mhm.
But it's like that relatableness is what people want. Like you posted a video the other day about pizza, about cheese pizza, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, you have to come back down the same way you come back,
Yeah.
you go back, right? And I'm
Right.
like, that's exactly what I thought about when I'm like, when I set my club down, it's where it needs to be at contact. If I can just go back to that spot, I'm gonna hit the ball. Obviously, I need a decent swing path, but I'm gonna hit the ball. So how do I figure out how to just get back to that point, right? And when you think about it like that, it's not so complicated. And
It's not.
you see all these people like you need to get here and you need to get the thing flat. It's like swing your swing, do what works, but like just understand the basics in the most simple form, and you should get better and better. Like that's how it is, right? I just think we sometimes overcomplicate the golf swing. It is a hard thing to nail down, but we're not professionals. We don't have to be swinging like Tiger Woods out there,
No.
right? Like, and you don't have to swing like Tiger Woods to be in the 90s or be in the 80s. You don't have to, and that's what most of us are at, anyways. So
Yeah, there's
no, I think that type of content makes is relatable to a lot of people, the
I have
majority of golfers.
I have a theory that golf, and I'm not sure about this, but I think that golf instruction has been polluted and convoluted in order to keep people like, you know, on the hook. Like oh, I got to go back and see him because he explained to me about this and now I got to like work on that. I think that's part of it. And also it's the only thing in life, the only thing that you are consciously thinking about while you're doing it. So, like if I just threw you a basketball, you would just catch it. If I said throw it back, you would just throw it back. You wouldn't think about, okay, I have the ball, I'm going to put my elbows together and I'm going to push with my fingers. You know, I'm going to feel more weight on this finger than I do. What? You just get it and throw it back, or you take it and shoot it. If I throw you a
It's
ball, you
it's
shoot it.
I just think because golf is one of the one sports that like you can get good at as an amateur. Like you can play basketball on the side in your men's league, or you can play, softball on the side, but you're not doing it to where like you're showing off stats, right? You're not trying to hit a 380 in your men's softball league. No one gives a shit how many points you score in your men's basketball league. But it's like one of those things in golf, like it's one of those ego things. Like you want to do do well, and you want to show it off to other people, and you have your handicap score, and you publicize that. It's like that only non-professional sport where it's like we play like the professionals, right? And I'll say this: like I tried to figure out golf on my own. Like I have a baseball background, so my swing was very baseball. It's coming over the top, turning my hips the wrong way, and I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna spend a lot of time, and I'm gonna figure it out on my own. And I don't need lessons because I should be able to figure it out. I will say I got to a point where I was like, all right, like I can play. I'm under 100 now, but I can't break 90. Like I'm just not consistent enough. And the reason is because when I make mistakes, I don't understand why. I don't understand why I'm slicing the ball. I don't understand why I'm hooking it. I just didn't understand it. And from a baseball background, like you aren't going to hit 3 for 3 every game. You're going to make mistakes, but at least I understood the swing enough to say, all right, if I'm popping the ball up 3 times in a row, I'm probably dropping my back shoulder, dipping a little bit, and I just need to make that adjustment. And I got lessons recently from a great coach out here, and I think the benefit I get from that is not of like trying to overthink my swing too much, but understand like why I might do something wrong and be able to make that adjustment, right? Like
Mm.
just understanding the basic fundamentals. And that's the value I've got from having a coach for me. But I don't make it too complex. It doesn't have to be, right? Like he gives me stuff. I don't go out there and be like, all right, I need to get here, 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 here. I'm like, you do this for a living. Your swing's going to be better than mine. I'm not trying to shoot in the 70s. I'm not trying to be a scratch golfer. I'm not trying to play on tour one day. I'm just trying to beat my buddies.
Right.
That's it. So like, just all I want to take from this at the end of the day is like, I'll lose a little bit of money, but I just want to gain a understanding of how the golf swing should be. I don't care if my backswing isn't perfect or my downswing isn't perfect. Just like, where should my hands line up? Where should the ball be, in my setup? How should I make contact with the ball? That's really it, right? Because when I first started, I was lining the ball up with my front foot. I was coming around it. I was like not had the right hand position on the club. Just simple things like that, right? And when my lessons are done, I feel like I'm in a great spot where I don't need lessons again. That's how I see the benefit of lessons, just understanding the little things of golf. Uh, but not like, all right, I need to swing like come here and come here and come there. Like I go to the range and I just swing away. Like I don't care. That's how I see it.
There's a big discrepancy in a lot of people go, "Oh, you played baseball. The baseball swing is very similar to the golf swing." And I'm here to tell you it's absolutely 100% completely different. The only thing that is the same
Yeah.
is that you're holding something in your hands. Everything else is completely different.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. And we grew up, I mean, you're a lot younger than I am, but the players that I play with are about my age from 30 to 50. And we grew up, I don't even know if they still teach this, but in Little League, you were taught elbow up. Okay. This right here, when you get up to bat, your elbow up. That's all you hear. Elbow up, elbow up. So we get the golf swing here and they do this. Well, you're dead. This is death to you. This is death to a golfer. Your elbow needs to be down. And if they just taught that, everybody would hit the ball. Look at this, and then look at this. See this? That is the difference between 106 and 88. This elbow, your trail elbow, must stay down. Ben Hogan says it. Try it. You'll see that from here, you just get back to the ball. From up here, you're like, how the hell do I get down there? But nobody teaches that. Nobody. I don't understand. Like I got to make 100 videos talking about that because that is the only way that people will understand, oh, I don't have to do all of this movement. Like they're correcting it from here. Why don't you just correct this and then you could just swing? So I think golf instruction is very, very like all over the place. I think it is good. There's a lot of pros that know exactly how to fix things, but it's not as hard as people make it. It really isn't. So that's what I've done on that YouTube is just kind of broken it down. People understand it.
Yeah. I think the point you make about it's the instruction is all over the place is that's true. There's so like when I think about the number of baseball like private coaches like growing up, there weren't that many out there, right? And you could figure out who the good ones were versus the bad ones.
Yep.
But every golf course, and now with online, there's so many PGA Pro coaches out there. And when I was trying to find a coach, I was looking around. I'm like, holy shit, they're 150 an hour. Like, I do a little bit of private baseball lessons on the side still in my local area, and I think I charge like $70 an hour. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty fair. I think for my time. And these guys are like 150, 200. I'm like, holy shit, how do I even know that you are going to help me or that you know what you're talking about, right? For $200 an hour. And I just think there might be, let's say, 1 million golf coaches out there. There might be 100, 200,000 actual really good ones that don't tell you one way of the swing. They look at you, they see what your swing is, and they help you based on your swing. I think a lot of people are like, this is the one way to do it, and that's how you should do it. Right. And that's where I think the problem is, where you see and especially with social media now, all these people are getting bigger and people want to follow instruction. But how do you know what's right? Like if we're going to someone, we just have to trust them. Right. Like I think with the baseball coaches thing is there's not millions of them. Not every baseball field has a private coach.
Right.
But every golf club has multiple PGA pros. Now with online platforms, there's people helping you coach. And it's like, some of them, and I don't think this has to be, I don't think you have to play in college to be a good coach. Like you don't have to be play at a high level football to be a good football coach, right?
No.
But like with baseball, like you could see someone's background. It's like, all right, they got to, play it at U of O and they made a year in minor leagues and now they're done, whatever it is. Like, okay, they have a good understanding of like, how to coach. I don't have no idea what to look at of what makes a good coach. I think that's the toughest part about, and it's like money thing. It's like everyone thinks they can be PGA coach, And I'll tell you this, we were at this simulator the other day, and
Yeah.
some guy tried helping my girlfriend, and he was this old guy. Like, and I was looking at him like, his swing is shitty. And apparently he followed us, and I was like, came across his profile, and I was like, he's a PGA pro? Like, people take lessons from that guy,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, I wouldn't in a million years pay that guy. I wouldn't have him pay me to take a lesson from him. So
I know.
that's where I think it's so tough. There's just
It's
so many
a
people doing it.
it's a weird space, and I give general ideas, and it's first of all it's free. Okay, so you go try it. If it doesn't work for you, then don't use it. Go back to whatever you were doing. I'm not charging you per hour to change your swing. I'm giving you a concept that works for me. Okay, and explaining a golf swing is like you trying to teach somebody how to walk. Well, what do you say? What's the first thing you do? If you were to get out of that chair and walk to your door, how would you explain that? Who knows? What's the first thing you do? I don't know. You push up with your hands, but like what part of your hands and like how hard? Is there any weight on your legs? Like which one has more? Like this is the stuff they get into. Like what are you talking about, man? Like how could you break this down to such a size? What you feel and what I feel are two different things. They're totally different. I feel my body do a certain thing and I can bend a certain way or not bend a certain way, and you can do one thing or the other. You can't. You have to give a general concept. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, try something else. But this thing of like going to a coach and then like, I have to do what he says because he says it. It's a bunch of BS, like just swing the club at a medium pace. And if it works, keep doing it. And if it doesn't, do something else. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think everyone's different, right? So, like, for me, I'm young. I want to get pretty decent at golf. I don't care to be a scratch. I just love to be in the 80s, right?
Mm,
And I started from a place where I had such bad habits. I didn't know how to break them. And so that coach helps you. But I think for the most part, most people take lessons through the young people, right? Trying to become good golfers, and they find a coach and try to create just like I did with baseball coaches, right?
hmm
Growing up, try to get to college one day. I think a lot of them now are older people. Their goal is not to try to hit for, scratch. They're just trying to get a little bit better. And you
Sure.
don't have, and they still try to teach those guys what they would try to teach me. But those guys can't do that. Right. And so I think the good coaches understand how to adapt to who you are and what your goals are versus like telling every single person they work with the same exact thing. Right. And for
Yeah.
the most part, a lot of people just need simple tips, like you're saying. They don't need it to get all complex.
No, it's not
They're not trying
complex.
to play an amateur event.
Right. And even
So
for you, you're
yeah,
you're somebody who says that you're trying to break 90. And by breaking 90, you're physically saying I'm trying to break 90 but working on my swing. That's not how you break 90. I can make you break 90 by the end of this week. I can already tell you that on every par 4 and every par 5, you pull out a driver and try to hit it as far as you can. And you hit it out of bounds. And that's why
but I
you're shooting
do.
94, 95, 96 because you're hitting balls out of bounds. If you
I
took
was there.
yeah, if you take a 7 iron, listen to this. If you make a 5 on every single hole, that's 90. That means double bogey every single par 3. Double bogey, okay? That's terrible, but you can double bogey every par 3. You can bogey every single par 4 and par the 3 or 4 par 5s. So there's 4 holes that you have to make par. Everything else is bogey or worse. That's 90. That's just a
I think if I really wanted to, I think if I think you're right. If I really wanted to break 90, I would not use my driver. I would hit a hybrid off every tee shot. Because like I probably lose. Before, I lost a lot of balls per
Yep.
rounds, right? With the driver, I would slice the shit out of it. I'd
Yeah.
hook it out of bounds every time, And if you're counting real, you're losing 2 strokes there every
Yeah.
time, and you do that 3 or 4 times, 5 times around, and that's 10 strokes. So now it's probably 2 around. I've gotten a lot better with my driver, but if I really wanted to break 90 tomorrow, I wouldn't use my driver. And it's so funny you say that because I have a buddy who was like kind of picked up golf similar when we played college baseball. he's an attorney, just kind of loves the sport, getting into it more. He refuses to have a driver in his bag. He
Good.
literally does not hit a driver at all in 18 holes, and he'll shoot. He's new, right? He'll hit 100, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I've been playing a lot longer, not a lot longer, but like a few months, and I've been at the range every other day, and I try to use my driver every hole, and we're scoring close to the same. Now it's a little bit different because I can a little more consistent with my driver, but
Yeah.
it just goes to show you that like you got to just simplify the game. You don't have to do too much. Like if you keep the ball in balance in 18 holes, you keep one ball, you're going to shoot under 100 easily. If you know how to chip a little bit and putt, you'll be in the 90s. And if you can use your irons, you'll break it every time, right? But it's like everyone wants that birdie, wants that eagle opportunity every now and again, you know. Um, but that's not the smart approach if you want the lowest score. But people just think, if I hit my driver 12 times consistent today down the middle, I'm going to shoot the best round of my life. How
Good luck.
often does that actually happen?
Never. Never.
Yeah. Even if you're feeling good, like you're going to pull one, you're going to slice one, and it's going to cost you a few strokes, and if you do it multiple times around, it's going to cost you a lot more than that. So you're right. And my buddy, there's something to what he does. I think one day he'd like to use a driver, but he's like, I don't feel a need. I don't care to shoot any better than this. Like, I just, I'm not chasing my ball around. I always give
No.
a shit, but like, I know he's right.
Yeah, there's a
So,
technique that I recommend that everybody does, and I think that everybody should do it at least once, preferably twice. Go from 7-iron to putter. Don't bring anything else. Hit your 7-iron off the tee. You could probably hit your 7-iron 160 yards, right? 150, 160 yards. Hit that twice.
probably more than that.
Get something that you can hit 160 yards. Okay, you hit it off the tee, and then you hit it again from the fairway. Then you wedge one up to the green, and you two putt, and you make 5. If you can hit your 7-iron every single time on every single hole, don't you think by the 11th time in a row that you hit your 7-iron, you're going to be hitting it well? That's like shooting free throws. Your first one you're going to miss. Your second one you're going to miss. Third, fourth, fifth. Now you're in a rhythm of what to do. You get into a groove. Hit the same club over and over and over and over and over again. That's why when you go on the range and you take your 8-iron out or your 7-iron or your 5-iron, the first 3 are garbage. But then you sit there and you continue to hit them. By the 11th 5-iron, you're like, oh, I got my 5-iron dialed. And then you pick up your 8-iron and it goes 100 yards right. Well, that's because you've figured it out. If you can hit the same club over and over and over and over again, by the 7th hole, you're going to be like, holy shit, I've done this 9 times. I know how to do this. And now you're in a groove for the rest of the round. 7-iron, 7-iron, wedge, putter. You're going to make some of those putts for sure. You're going to miss some of those putts. You're going to shoot 88 your first time doing it. 7-iron, 7-iron, wedge.
Yeah. I played with my buddies the other day and Fade and Fairways. Got connected with them through Instagram. And there was this hole I misunderstood, like the layout of the hole. They're using driver. I was like, I picked up my 7-iron. I just like didn't even think about. I was confused a little bit, and I was like, all right, I have to use a 7-iron here based on what you guys just said. Hit a pure 7-iron shot. They all use drivers, and I might have been 135 yards from the hole. They might have been 80, 60. But we are one club away from both being on the green.
Exactly.
And I used a 7-iron versus a driver, right? And a 7-iron that I feel a lot more comfortable to hit straight almost every single time. And I'm one shot away just like they are. Yeah. That's it, right? And you're both on the green in 2, and you used completely different clubs, but there's a bigger chance that I use my driver and slice it or pull it, and it's going to cost me shots. I think there's, and you get all this. That's why you see so much so many people upset with this whole rollback thing, because they're like, oh, I'm going to hit my driver less. It's like, oh, who gives a shit, right? Like your driver's going 10 yards less, but at the end of the day, you really don't even need that club to, if you're a professional and you can hit that club, in play every single time, it makes a little bit of a difference. But for most of us, even the amateurs that are pretty good, it's not going to make much of a difference. I could use a hybrid, they could use a driver, and I could probably still get the same score as them.
100%.
You know, uh,
100%.
I think golf is one of those sports. It's like I said, goes back to that. It's like versus any other amateur sport out there. Like people care about your handicap, what you score, what you shoot here, what you shoot here.
Right.
Oh, you played basketball this weekend? Cool, bro. Like no one's asking, oh, how many rebounds, how many assists? And you're not gonna
Yeah,
put it on social media, right? Like
yeah.
no one cares.
You're
So
right.
it's like it's an ego sport. You want to drive the shit out of the ball. That's why everyone's upset about it,
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like it reminds me of like the BB core bats back in the day with Beezer bats, right? Like Beezers, you could just like hit a fly ball and it would be a home run. You take a bad swing and it could be a home run. Like what BB core taught people is how to swing better and how to be smarter with what pitches you swing at and whatever. It's like you can still hit for good average. And now power numbers are back up because people had to like think more strategically about how they approach it, right? It's
For
like you
sure.
can't just hit a fly ball and have a shitty swing and hit home runs now. Like you're going to fly out. Like you just need to adjust your swing a little bit, adjust your approach, just like golf. Just adjust your approach a little bit. People were complaining, and I'm like, okay, you drive a ball 10 yards less. So if your second shot would have been with a 7-iron to the pin, wouldn't you just go with 6 now? Like I
Yeah.
don't understand why people are so upset. Like what's the difference? Yeah, you drive it 10 yards less, then you just club up. Like your next club. That's all you would do. I don't really get why everyone's so upset about it because all people really care about is driving the shit out of the ball. They want to hit 300 plus. That's it. It's like the weirdest sport. We're like at the end of the day, like you want to score less, you don't even need a driver,
No.
in
No.
theory,
No. No chance.
but
And I tell
ego
I
sport.
tell I
So
tell I tell my buddies that too. I go, listen, let's hypothetically say, or it's always the clubs. It's never the golfer. Like he's like, oh, I need new clubs, or I need a new hybrid, or I need a new this. And I go, listen, man. If we went to Goodwill right now and one of these guys on tour came out and I gave him the shittiest clubs at Goodwill and I gave you his clubs, he would still knock your socks off. Why? Because he knows what to do and you have no idea. So first, learn your way around the course, whatever course you're playing, stay within your means, and you will play better. It's not the equipment, dude. I mean, can it help? Sure. But if you don't know how to use it, you can have a brand new Ferrari, and if you don't know how to drive, that fucker's in the driveway, and it's not moving because you don't know how to drive it. But if you had a 56 Chevy, it doesn't matter. It's you know how to drive, and it'll get you there. So it's all about learning. That's what I'm talking about golf instruction. Like that's what they should teach you. Like, okay, it's not so much that you have a shitty swing, it's that you're trying to do too much, that you don't know what to do. So relax. Let's go step by step.
yeah, and I also think like I Golf Digest posted something a while back, and I gave him shit for it. I commented on it. It was like how to lower your score, and it was like take less shots. And I'm like, oh well, thanks, Captain Obvious. Like obviously take less shots, right? Like, but you had these golfers that were responding to me that was like, that's not what they meant. Like they meant, instead of trying to do this crazy shot here, it's like
Right.
layup, right? Like you don't need to drive it through the trees, get it back in the fairway, and then one shot to the green, right? Instead, you're hitting the tree, it's bouncing back. It's like that's what they meant.
Right.
But
Right.
in reality, like that's the truth. At the end of the day, if I approach an 18 hole more strategically, just like the pros do, which is why they read greens, they have a caddy to tell them what the wind's looking like. It's like golf is a lot more strategic game than just having a good swing. And if half the people that just wanted to get a little better just took the time to really understand, like you said, the course,
Right.
even when you're putting, like read the green a little bit, like watch someone else putt, but no one really wants to do those little things. They just want to be like, they just want to get good overnight. But
Right.
like pros aren't like, there's a lot of golfers out there who are scratch. But the reason pros are so good is because they do those little things. They understand the courses they're playing. They understand the reads. They understand what club they should use. Like there was this whole, I was at the BMW Championship, and we had the sick ass seats, and I forget what hole we were overlooking, maybe the 16th or something like that. But I was like, not a single one of them used a driver. And I'm like, this is a straight down the middle. Why would you not use a driver? Like I would use a driver all day here. All of them are using the 3-wood. They were all using it. Every single one of the pros. Where if you put an amateur out there, every single person will use a driver. There was a reason why they were all using the 3-wood and not a driver there. It's like, but for the normal person, we want to use the driver. We're not very strategic about it. Like golf is a game of like strategy, and you just have to understand when to be smart and save yourself strokes. And you don't need a driver to help you get a lower score. You just got to be strategic about it. Like it helps if you're good with it, but most of us aren't. So
yeah, I've played
golf is a funny sport, and
I've played in a
funny
couple
sport.
I've played in a couple pro-ams. Just recently I played at Pebble Beach with Rory Sabatini. I don't know if you know Rory, but he's a pro golfer, and we were out there for the AT&T Pro-Am. And he played the first like 7 holes from us with us on the tee. And then he started hitting from 140 yards in. He wouldn't even hit the tee shot. It's like, Rory, how come you're not playing these holes? He goes, well, I need to get good from here, and I need to know the course from here. And he would hit 15 to 20 putts on every single green. He would just drop balls and just hit. He didn't care about the drive at all. The second shot, it went where it went. But once you're on the green, he surveyed the green like with his book and his caddy, like, this is what we do from here, this is what we do from here, this is what we do when the pin's here, this is what we do. And it was like, that was the science class, like on the green. So after a while, he would just drop balls up by the green and just wouldn't even worry about the shots coming in. And, to me, I'm worried about my tee shot. He didn't care at all. The tee shot could go anywhere. He's still going to get it on in 2. And from there, that's when you need to be good.
Yeah.
That's when you score. People don't know that.
Yeah. And that's what I realized like recently was like, you could have an errant tee shot. You could have a good second shot, and now you're right back in place just with everyone else. And those pros, and like when I went to the Waste Management Open a few years back, I'm like, I think I was following, God, I want to say Fowler and Finau. I could be wrong. I know it was Finau. I don't know who the other one was. I think it was Fowler. But both of them on their tee shot were wide right. They sliced it a little bit. They were in the thick stuff, where all of us watching were. Like, we're surrounding them. We're 5 feet from them. And their second shot, right back in the fairway, right? Right back as good as it would be if it was in the fairway to begin with. And 100%. I think that's the thing is that what they're so good because their mistakes, like really, yes, they're a bad shot, but they're so good that their second shot will be right back to where they need to be. And they're right back in play. And I think what golf makes you realize is like, you don't have to have a great first shot, but for an amateur, it helps if you just are in play, right? Because then you don't have to worry about having that perfect second shot, right? You can be off on that second shot. You just don't have to be 50 yards further. Get your hybrid, and now you're back in play with everyone else, right? Because they're using that 7-iron. It's just all about strategy. And if you look at the Ryder Cup this year, what was it, the last day we were making a comeback, and was it Fowler that tried to use a driver right after someone else went in the water, and then he did the exact same thing, and it was like all we needed to do to like keep this whole win was just have the ball in play and get to the green. But was it like Homa and him? I don't remember who exactly was. Both were right, and then we lost that hole, kind of cost us the entire Ryder Cup. But reality, that didn't cost us the Ryder Cup. But it's like you just saw someone go wide right with your driver, and then you go wide right with your driver into the water. It's like, and I think if they could do it over again, they wouldn't use their driver there. But an amateur, we still would, because all we want to do is hit. That's why people love scrambles. One person in the fairway, now you're just letting go.
Most it.
But how often does that actually work for you? You're swinging out of your shoes. You're always slicing that ball.
Never will.
But I think we went on a crazy tangent about the golf swing, golf coaches here. I wanted to keep these short, so what I'll probably end up doing is cutting this into 2 episodes to start, right? But great conversations. What I really want to get back to end it all, I think is, for those, and you did it completely differently, right? Like, just to reiterate for those that, maybe didn't listen beginning, Jimmy started a barbershop, COVID hit, a barbershop with golf influence. COVID hit, barbershops closed down, got an idea from Will from Rams Hill that, start a club. Started a club, you know, five subscribers, 10, 15. Now we're at 700 with clubs in multiple locations and a ladies edition, right? So it's growing, it's doing well.
Well, wait,
Starting
hold on.
apparel
Time,
side came
time out.
natural.
Time out. Before
Okay.
before before we go on about the growth of it all, I do have to say that a lot of this growth came from what we were doing with Manolo. Like Manolo and I were just filming BS during COVID, and it hit, and now there was national attention immediately. So I don't want somebody to think that like, oh, he just started this thing and then all of a sudden it I mean, I got a blessing from the gods that he did well, and in turn the club did well because we're all attached. But do I think it would have worked either way? Yes. Did it work better because of the national attention? 100%. It drew a lot of people to him, and then from there, it's in his bio. He talks about it like all the time, and then he's all the videos. I film all the videos, I edit all the videos, I'm in the videos. Like, it's helped for sure. It's still a great product, but the fact that national attention like that, that's a big that's a big helper.
Yeah. Okay. So shout out Manolo, helped you out, but look, it was all organic.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this was a strategic planned out. The whole goal at the beginning of it all was build a community. You didn't care. You just wanted to build a community of people to connect others. Like that
True.
was the whole goal. It wasn't to get as big as you are now or to get as big as you will be next year.
True.
And then when you built that community, shout out Manolo, apparel kind of came naturally, right? I'm sure there were requests from other people like, hey, you got hats? Like, I'm proud to be in this club. I want to rep it. I want to
100%.
go play when I, travel. I want to rep this. Like, I'm proud
Right.
to be in it. I'm sure that's kind of how it all started, right? It's like
Yeah.
you don't love doing it. I'm sure picking, packing, shipping, lead times, ordering, dealing with manufacturer, it's all a bitch. Like, that's why that industry is hard, and that's why most people don't succeed. They don't understand all that. The designs, the colors, the style, all of that.
Right.
But what I want to end on is, maybe, since you did it differently, you're not just this brand that started and selling apparel for ladies and men's and hats and all this shit, right? And I do think you can do that, but I think it goes back to what Landforce always says. It's like niche down, get really good at one thing, right? Whether it's like kid golf bags or strollers that are golf carts or like brushes, dimple and divots brushes that are very unique, hickory, super dope looking. Like you're not doing 100 different things. You're starting with one product and you're building on that product, or you build a community. I think there's like two ways to do it, but you better be innovative on the first one, something that is not out there, people don't see, right?
Right.
Like that's important. But then you have this community that you built. So for those people that are out there that are like, man, I want to build a brand one day. I want to, find a way to monetize what I'm doing as a creator or whatever it is, right? Like, what is your advice for them to grow? I know you said earlier it's like be on YouTube, right? Like be on YouTube. So things like that. Like, what advice do you have for someone that's like, I want to build a brand one day, whether it's a club like you're doing, an apparel brand or whatever? What is the best way to do that to help you grow? To get there and have that community. Like, how do you build that community?
This. Put this thing right here and tell everybody what you want to do. If you're making a hat, if you're making a social club, if you're making a rocket ship that's going to fly through the solar system, tell everybody every single day, 10 times a day, I want to do this. I want to do this, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to be like this, and I want it to have people from here, and I want it to go there, and I wanted the hat to look like this with this kind of letter, over and over and over and over and over and over until you can't do it anymore. People focus so much about making the hat perfect that they forget that they have to sell the hat or whatever else it is. You need to tell people over and over and over and make videos constantly about what you are trying to do. And not just for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever thing else comes, every single one. And Facebook has older people on it. Make videos for them. TikTok has things for teenagers. Make videos that they understand. Instagram is everybody else. Make videos for those people. Like, you have to find the platform, and not just one. People, oh, should I just do Facebook? No, do all of them. They're free. They're all free. Like, do them all.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
podcasts. Sit in front of it like you're doing, and just tell people exactly what you're thinking. And there's 8 billion people on the world. 1 million of them are going to go, I like that guy. That's it. That's all you have to do. There's going to be 1 million people.
And I'll say this is that I think a lot of young brands, not all of them, right? A lot of their content is about the brand and just product based, right? The polo, a picture of the polo or a picture of the hat or whatever. But I think the one thing that I love Landforce. Like, I follow him. He's a great dude. I have conversations with him. One thing he says, like, if you're a brand, like, be on camera, tell people about the process, tell people about your story, your mission. Like, you got to get connected with people. It's a lot easier for someone to connect with a person than a brand, especially when you are in such a saturated market and there's so many brands. Like, be a face of the brand and tell people why you're doing this, what it's about, what it means, the process. Like, people want to be educated of how to do it, right? It's like, I think of 7-Iron Golf, like, some of their best content is when the founder is behind the camera talking about the process of designing and where he gets products and how it came to be in the story. And it's like, that's all from what Landforce was said to do. And I think so for me, it's like similar to you, it's like, you're the face of your brand. People associate your brand with you. You also have, your own account, but you're on camera all the time. People can relate to you. People are like, I want to fucking play golf with that guy. Like, I want to buy his stuff because I fucking like that guy because of the content he puts out. But it's like, with so many brands out there, why would I buy something like if I don't connect to it at all? That's why I put a lot of emphasis like on my brand series videos of like, I go to the website, I go to the About Me, I read their story, and I implement their story so people can try to connect with. The brands that I think have the best story and focus on that story and what they in the content they tell allows people to connect with them more. If they're not going to be on camera as an individual and be the face of a brand, you got to sell that story, find that audience that relates to that story. But for the most part, it's like, get the people to relate to you, like your face. You are the brand, right? And people want to be like you. They just like your vibe. They want to play golf with you. And if they want to play golf, if you get into the point where like, man, I want to go play golf with that dude, like, I'd probably want to buy his polo, probably want to buy his hat, because I like him, and it's similar to like, kind of like what Grunk Dolpher does a little bit, right? He's just like, a lot of the content he posts is not about the products that they sell, but like what his brand represents in his eyes. And he's behind the camera doing it. I don't know how successful they are compared to someone else that doesn't do that. But when I see the person who's selling the content selling the merch or whatever, I just like, man, that guy's cool. Like, I like him and I like what he's selling and I want to buy that. It's a lot easier than being like, I'm trying to start this brand in a fucking super saturated market, priced probably too high.
Way too
It's
high.
like, it's just an early death sentence. Like, a lot of these brands, like, look, I respect all of them for just doing it. Like you said about me with this podcast, like you if you have an idea and you want to do it, you got to just do it. But it's a lot harder than you think. And I said this in a video the other day. You can't just go find a polo from buttfuck nowhere in Taiwan and say, I'm going to put my logo on there and it's 98% poly and spandex. And like, when you stretch it, you can see that it's digitally printed on. And it's like, everyone's doing that. And, you have like Sunday Swagger and Bad Birdie. Like, they've kind of nailed that niche of like cool designed printed polos. And now everyone's trying to do that same thing. You have Pins and Aces. They're doing well too up in there. And like, everyone's doing that. And then you have people like Old Nation not Old Nation, Nation and you. And like, even like Buena Gente, right? They still
Yeah.
use that type of material, but the designs are so focused on the customers. They know who their customers are. They know their story is Latin inspired, and that's what the designs are going to be,
Right.
right? But like when you have no story and you don't know the audience you're trying to target, it's hard for anyone to relate to you and build that audience and build that community, you know?
100%.
So it's a tough industry to succeed in. And I think there's two ways to do it. It's like niche down, be really good, be innovative at
Mhm.
one thing, then you can grow and expand, or build a community of people who love you and love what you do and love what you're about, love the mission. And then people are naturally going to want to buy the products because they're inspired by you already, you know? So, which I
You're
think
right.
is more what you've done. You create that community, you're on social media, you're giving people value for free, and
Right.
they're like, they just relate to you, they connect with you, and then they're like, man, oh, he also has a store, I want to rock that hat on the course,
Right.
you know.
Right.
It's like they don't care whether it's like their favorite hat or whatever, they just want to buy it because they like you know. And so there's something to that community thing, right? And being the face of your brand too. So
100%. That's very, very important. And you see all these huge brands now, and look at like even Nike. Like Nike sucked until Jordan jumped on, and then they had a face. Then it had a face. Amazon. Amazon was doing well, and then all of a sudden, dude comes out, and now he's the face of Amazon, and like, oh, okay, and Amazon does great. Elon Musk is the same way. Like, there's got to be somebody in front of this company going. I mean, Amazon is so much more than just him, but that's what you think about. You know what I mean? And Zuckerberg is the same shit. Like, you got to have a face to it. And once you have a face to it, even if it's not you, even if it's your company, but you're like, you know what, I suck on camera and I'm not presentable or I don't want to do it, find somebody and make them the face. Ronald McDonald is the face of McDonald's. And that's a cartoon. Mickey Mouse, face of Disney. It works. You got to have somebody, either a cartoon or a person, and it just goes, this is the image. This is the image we're selling, and then people will buy into that, and from there, it's easy
yeah,
sailing.
you could put Mickey Mouse on the ugliest T-shirt out there, and people will buy it.
100%.
Right? And that's the thing. It's like there's a face, there's a caricature, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Nation Golf, you have the founders who are behind it, but they have that caricature. And you when you read the story about it, it
Mm-hmm.
represents, what was it? I don't know the founder's name, but his grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like that's the type of stuff that like helps you build a brand and people can connect to it and relate to it. And like I love the brands with real stories. And you hear all these, and look, like it might sound good on paper, but it's not unique. When you're like, I was tired of seeing this old, outdated merch and that's overpriced. So I was inspired to start a brand. Like I see that a lot. I tell
Right.
about it in my brand videos. But
Yeah.
the ones that I love the most are the ones that are like, let's like look at North Coast Golf. I can't say their story off the top of my head, but they're inspired by Northern Michigan, and
Mm.
a lot of their products reflect that,
Mm.
right? That Michigan lifestyle, that Michigan golf lifestyle, the Northern Michigan lifestyle, and they convey that in the social media posts. They convey that online in their products. And as someone that lived in Michigan for 5 years, I'm like, holy shit, I love that stuff. I want to wear the Spartan Green glove. I want to wear the Petoskey Stone glove because I just relate to it. They tell the story, and that story is embedded in everything they do. Most people have this story, but it's just that story. They think because they feel like they have to have an about me. But that
Right.
story, like I was trying to build a brand and we ended up stopping just because like as I learned more about the space, I was like, probably not smart to do. But one of our focuses were like we have the story of like these two average dudes playing bogey golf, and this is like that story needs to be in every single thing that we do, from the
Right.
content we post to how our box should look, how our merch should look, whatever it should be. And I feel like people lose track of that, right? Of
Yeah.
like that story of being in everything. And so there's there's no one right way to be successful in this industry, but I think there are ways to create something that lasts a long time, right?
Be real. Just be
You
real. Just be real.
be real, authentic, and I think tell your story, right?
Every day.
And know your audience. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that for sure, because like you were saying, TikTok, it's a different audience. YouTube's a different audience. Facebook's a different audience. And you have to curate your stuff to be relatable to that space. You look at what you were talking about, Tesla with Elon. Like
Mhm.
he's built a cult like following. Not everyone loves him,
Right.
but he's still lovable enough to a lot of people that they're buying his shit and they're making him billions of dollars. Right. So you don't have to have, I think the important thing is not everyone has to like you, right?
Exactly.
Like know who your audience is and double down on that,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes. Very
anyways,
important.
Jimmy, an hour and 15, we, talked a lot about how you came to be, and I admire that, the full story, uh, the inspirations. We'll give them a shout out one more time. Ramshill Will and Manolo, right? Two big people and helping you get to where you are today, I'd say. One more
Sure.
inspirational, one, helped with the whole content and
Yeah.
putting your stuff out there.
Numbers.
Um, yeah, numbers. And I would just say, like, everyone's different. I'm going to have a bunch of different guests on. Their stories are all going to be different, but it's just interesting to see, how you came to be, where you see yourself now, where you see yourself in the future, and how you feel like you're going to get there. And it comes down to is being yourself, being authentic, providing free value to people, not selling people, not buy this, buy this, buy this,
Never.
right?
No.
Let that happen.
Yeah.
So I think it's super cool. I think what you're doing is awesome. And if I lived in an area with a Tropicana golf club, I'd probably be a member too, but I don't. Um,
Hey, listen,
so
you
keep
might
doing your thing. I appreciate it.
you might have to start the Tropicana Club where you live.
Yeah, Chicago needs one. Except we don't have golf season all year long.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
our problem. We got a lot of good golf, a
Indoor.
lot of people who love golf.
It's indoor
Yeah,
golf.
we do indoor.
Yeah, it's just friends, man. It doesn't have to be about golf. Our golf friends spend more time not playing golf together than we do playing golf. So it's just making friends, man. A golfer finds another golfer
Brotherhood.
and you're instantly like this. You see a guy with a Titleist hat, you're like, that guy fucks. Like it's like
And
it's good. And you're playing golf.
it's funny you say that. Everywhere I go now, I see the people with golf hats, and I'm
Yeah,
like, my boy.
that's my dude.
Like I don't even have to. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm wearing my golf hat, you're wearing your golf hat. Like we're at the airport. I'm like, I'd be
Yeah.
friends with that guy.
You just want to go
It's
talk
like
and be like,
it's just
so
a brotherhood.
when's the last time you played? Where'd you play? How'd you do? What about this? Have you played this play? Like it's just nonsense banter talk, but you get it right away. And it doesn't matter the ages or anything. Like you're just homies. So that's what this club starts. And now I think that you should do one in a Tropicana, Chicago for sure.
Yeah, we can make it happen. We'll talk more. But anyways, that concludes episode 1 of Links to Labels. Jimmy, I
Episode
appreciate you
one.
being the first guest.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, episode 1, hopefully of many.
You will.
I appreciate your time. Thanks for pushing me to do this and
You got
volunteering
it.
to be our first guest. So I appreciate it. And next time I'm out in your neck of the woods, we'll have to play sometime. So
You got it, man.
looking forward to that. It's good to chat with you. Appreciate your time,
Congratulations,
Jimmy.
bro. Congratulations on your first
Thank you.
episode. That's a big step. You're going to do well. You're going to make hundreds of these, and I'll come back on for number 100.
All right. That's a contract right there. I'll hold you to that.
All right,
All
brother.
right.
Have a
Take
good
care, Jimmy.
afternoon. All
Talk to you
right,
later.
take care.
All right, you too.